coverage you can count on. This is Fox 2 News at 6.
The NGA will stay in St. Louis. We have live team coverage of the big announcement.
Plus, what led to a St. Louis police officer to shoot a suspect in the Central West End.
And the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's visits to crime scenes are helping keep murderers off the streets.
But first on Fox 2 News at 6, North St. Louis will be the new home to the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
Fox 2's Betsy Bruce was the first one to break this story. She's live from downtown to begin our team coverage on this big announcement. Betsy.
Oh, Sandy, you can certainly say that again. This is a very, very major victory for the city of St. Louis. They've had some tough times with the departure of the Rams and, of course, the sale of Anheuser-Busch a few years back. So what is happening here is going to make a difference in the minds of the leaders here. Now, let's take a look at a picture of Mayor Slay as he received the good news. It was snapped by his press secretary, Maggie Crane, and he's just delighted to get that. And then he began calling all of his partners. He had many people to thank in this effort, from the U.S. senators to advisors, including apparently a retired NGA employee who offered his help. We will tell you that this is going to be built in North St. Louis, just north of the old Pruitt-Igoe housing development site and not far from a St. Louis City public school, the Gateway Middle School. This site still does need some remediation. There is some contamination there, but the city will have a year to take care of that. The neighborhood is primarily on board with this. There are still a few homes that have not been purchased, and the city, once they get the final ruling, and that will come at the end of May, they believe, once they get that final ruling, they will proceed with eminent domain efforts to acquire the last few properties. This is how the mayor reacted when he held his news conference this afternoon.
Building this headquarters where we have proposed it would change the game in the heart of the city, reverse decades of disinvestment in a neighborhood, and it would be built adjacent to the old Pruitt-Igoe site, which, as we know, has been sitting idle and vacant for so many years, and would be righting the wrongs of a failed federal policy from decades in the past.
Now, this preserves 3,100 jobs that exist in South St. Louis at the current NGA site in the Soulard area near the Anheuser-Busch plant. Let me go back to the NGA director, Robert Cardello. He issued a statement today, and he was the one who said he was going to make the decision, not the president, not the senators involved here. He said, quote, "After careful consideration of all of the available information, I have determined that the St. Louis City site is the agency's preferred alternative." Now, there will be a time for people in Illinois to make statements. The city promises to continue its effort to be sure that it turns over this site in prime condition. Live here in downtown, Betsy Bruce, Fox 2 News.
Reactions are beginning to pour in from Illinois officials after they learned their state will not be the new site for the NGA.
Fox 2's Jeff Bernthal continues our live team coverage. He is in Belleville. Jeff?
And I can give you a little more insight into why the director of the NGA went on the St. Louis side. I've been talking with the St. Clair County chairman here, certainly disappointed, certainly disagrees with this recommendation. He plans on using the upcoming public comment session to voice their opinions here that this site should be built in Illinois. Illinois officials led a bipartisan effort to bring the NGA across the river, but the board chairman tells me he had a brief conversation with the NGA director today where he learned St. Louis would be the recommended site. Chairman Mark Kern was told the NGA felt tearing up open fields here in Illinois for the site was more of an environmental concern than building in St. Louis. Kern disagrees with that, saying there will be homes torn down in St. Louis. The other point of concern expressed from the NGA director to the St. Clair County Chairman Board was whether employees would continue on the job if the site moved to Illinois.
We think that it sells us short here, and certainly we've got Scott Air Force Base. 13,000 people report there every day, qualified. They do many of the same things that happened at NGA, happen at Scott Air Force Base.
And Kern says his delegation will continue to fight to make the argument that the site should be built here because there is, again, another month or two before a final decision is made. But certainly Devastating blow today. Reporting live from Belleville, Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
Thank you, Jeff. Now to an officer-involved shooting that leads to a man hospitalized in critical condition. Investigators said that the officer fired his weapon out of fear of being stabbed. Fox News' Kelly Hoskins is live in the Central West End where the shooting happened. Kelly?
Raper, the incident happened here at Kings Highway and McPherson. The police chief says the 22-year-old male suspect was upset after receiving a traffic ticket. Here is what we know so far. We're told that a traffic safety officer issued the driver a ticket for running a red light and not having a valid license plate. A second officer pulled up and the driver allegedly began yelling at police about the ticket. Reportedly, police were going to place him under arrest when the police chief says the suspect went back to his car and reached into his glove box for a knife, grabbed the officer and attempted to stab the officer. That's when the officer fired one shot. The suspect sustained a gunshot wound to the arm. The chief says the officer was not wearing a body camera and there is no dash cam video since the suspect pulled up behind the officer.
Both the officer and the sergeant described the suspect or the individual involved in the car stop as being agitated and upset that he was receiving the ticket. Fearing that the individual is going to be able to open the knife, the officer is unable to break free of the grasp that the individual has on his shirt, fires one shot in defense of himself.
Now, the suspect is listed in critical condition, and we're told that the officer was not injured. The veteran officer has been put on administrative duty pending the outcome of the investigation. In the Central West End, Kelly Hoskins, Fox 2 News.
New at 6, Ferguson has a new police chief. Delrish Moss will be formally named as the new chief tomorrow. Moss is a former homicide detective, and he is the current spokesman for the Miami Police Department. He was one of 4 finalists announced about a month ago to replace Thomas Jackson, who you may remember resigned after a Justice Department report strongly criticized the city's police and municipal court practices.
Score one for the good guys in the city's crime battle. Circuit Attorney Jennifer Joyce says her office is removing murder suspects from the streets faster. Fox 2's Rocky Madden is live at the Peabody Opera House Bureau with the exclusive story. Rocky.
Well, Sandy, it's all because of a new program. Lawyers at the Circuit Attorney's Office are losing sleep in order to catch criminals. Now, prosecutors last year started showing up at homicide scenes day or night. They take turns taking a 24-hour call. It allows them to see what happened firsthand. And maybe more important, they meet the witnesses and get to know them and build a trusting relationship, which makes their jobs easier. It gives police and prosecutors a better environment to work together. In February, they saw their fruits of their labor pay off.
In the month of February, we did what's called Bat 1,000. That means that every single homicide that the police department brought us, we issued.
That is really unusual. I've been in this office over 20 years and I have never seen that before in a month's time. And that is a direct result from us being present on the scene when the homicide happens.
Now, the program is working so well, lawyers may next start showing up at attempted murder scenes and try to solve those cases quickly. Reporting live here at the Peabody Bureau, Rocky Madden, Fox 2 News.
New at 6, a man is behind bars charged for a robbery in Kirkwood. Investigators say 35-year-old Jamie Vota confessed to robbing a 70-year-old woman. It happened along West Jefferson at Kirkwood Road Monday afternoon. Vota told police that he needed the money because he has a drug habit. Well, the search is on for 2 armed carjackers who led police on a chase that started in Brentwood and ended in a crash in North St. Louis. It all started around 11 p.m. last night when 2 men tried to carjack a vehicle in the garage at the Galleria Shopping Center. One problem: it had a manual transmission and they couldn't drive it. So they ran to a nearby neighborhood and carjacked a white Jeep. Area residents say this kind of thing, though, is rare in their area.
It's a wonderful, safe area. I've always felt safe here. I've been here 10 years. I feel very safe here. There's random acts of craziness go on everywhere, including.
I feel like it's very safe. It's very safe, but I think the police do a good job.
Brentwood police spotted the Jeep going at a high rate of speed, and several police departments joined the chase until the crash at Natural Bridge in Clara in North St. Louis. Still ahead, the work starting tonight that will lead to traffic headaches along I-70 for weeks.
Plus, lawmakers may soon raise Missouri's gas tax. The price bump you could see at the pump.
Tonight, equal play, equal pay, a discrimination complaint looming large in St. Louis. for women's soccer.
Unsettled skies, rain and thunderstorms rocketing west to east. They're out of the picture now, opening the door to a new chill. The allergy check tree pollen's in play, but the big change today, a rapid rise in the mold spores thanks to the rain and the thunderstorms. Also, the rain's bringing a little cool down in our soil temperature. Radar and my St. Louis weather forecast on the way.
Equal play, equal pay.
The U.S. Women's World Cup soccer team accuses the U.S. Soccer Federation of discrimination. 2 members of the team are from St. Louis. Fox 2's Andy Banker spoke to them both and is here now with the story new at 6. Andy.
All right, guys, they have filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission claiming across-the-board discrimination, unsafe work conditions, having to play on artificial turf when the men never do. But the biggest issue, the most glaring, they say, is pay. The U.S. Women's World Cup team just set records for TV ratings, for attendance, and the players claim overtook the men's team as the main economic engine for U.S. soccer, the governing body for the national teams, exceeding revenue projections by as much as $16 million for the year. Yet they're paid much less than the men.
That's been kind of the argument in the past, is that, well, the women don't bring in the same revenue that the men make, so they're not going to make as much money. Well, the past year and the projected earnings for this year as well are that the women were going to make more than the men.
Lori Kolupny now coaches at Maryville U, retiring after the 2015 championship run. But she says the 5 players who signed the EEOC complaint represent the entire team, including her. Fellow St. Louisan Becky Sauerbrunn says the men's players were paid about 4 times more than the women, even though the men failed to make it to the championship round. And the women claim the men's bonus per player would have been nearly $400,000 had they won the World Cup. The women's bonus was more than 5 times less, $75,000 per player. A sports economist who teaches at Washington University in St. Louis says more than just one season likely comes into play here.
If you look at a longer period of time, the men's revenue may be more, but the pay disparity is probably too large. I'm sure the women have a valid point.
The heart of the matter is just respect. I mean, our mantra is equal play, equal pay. So we have the same work requirements as the men. You know, we have a minimum of 20 games. We travel as much as they do.
Goalie Hope Solo tweeted, hashtag equal means equal, equal play, equal pay. Megan Rapinoe tweeted the same slogan, adding the word respect. And Carly Lloyd added, historic moment, proud of the strength of this team.
This is a fight, not just for women's soccer, it's for women in sports, and it's for women in the workplace that have ever felt that there was a wage discrepancy.
It's not for women's soccer, not for women's sports, but for women in general. It's a gender equality issue. It has nothing to do with women's soccer. It's really about equal treatment.
And a statement from U.S. Soccer cites its unwavering commitment to women's soccer through the years, really helping to build it up. If this is going forward, a ruling may take about 6 months.
6 months. They've certainly built some soccer excitement around here.
Bet.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. The Missouri Senate agrees on a plan to raise the state's fuel tax. The increase of nearly 6 cents per gallon would pay for road and bridge projects. Missouri's current fuel tax of 17 cents is among the lowest in the country. The legislation needs another vote to move to the House, and if passed, would eventually require voter approval.
Know before you go, you can expect traffic jams along I-70 in St. Charles for a few weeks, I'm afraid. Starting tonight at 9:30, crews will close the right lane on westbound 70 from the Blanchette Bridge to 5th Street. The 3-week-long closure will allow crews to work on the new 5th Street ramp being built as part of the Fairgrounds Road and 5th Street Improvement Project.
Taking a look now from our Gateway Buick GMC web camera at the Galleria Malls, we check in with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. A couple of downpours today. I got caught in one.
Yeah, pretty well, usually do.
I know, right?
Yeah, pretty nice around the area now, though. Unsettled skies today with a mix of clouds and sun, humid, very warm, almost a Florida feel around town. We have seen a couple of fast-moving thunderstorms with brief heavy rain, gusty winds, and lightning. Scan the Doppler radar. Some rather strong to even marginally severe storms were fired up on the eastern edge of the viewing area this afternoon. The heaviest from about Effingham down to Mount Vernon, but you can see all of that action has kicked east out of the Fox 2 News viewing area. Nothing left for us. The setup in the atmosphere, it's all about a double cold front. The second one passing right now, pushing the scattered storms away, opening the door to the return of that northwest flow. Partly cloudy skies this evening and overnight, and you can see there is a slow and steady cool down in the temperature. The cold air behind the front lagging about 200 miles to the northwest, but it's on the way. Overnight, we will end up near 40 degrees by Friday morning. 2 events coming up, one this evening, one over the weekend. First, it's a sighting of the International Space Station. There will be a few clouds around, but I think we get a good look at it. 8:37 this evening, traveling from the west-southwest sky to the northeast sky at a high elevation of 66 degrees and lasting a nice 6 minutes. So give that a peek at about 8:37 this evening. Also, opening day for the Cardinals in Pittsburgh, Sunday afternoon, partly sunny skies. It's cold, but it is dry. Temperatures during the afternoon, the high for the day, 38 degrees. That is it. Our numbers at 6 o'clock, still pretty nice out there, but the temperatures are cooling back. 67 right now, 40% the humidity. Quite windy, west at 24, gusting to 33. Pressure 29.56. It's really low, but it is rising. High today, 73 degrees. That was right ahead of that second cold front, and the low this morning, 58 degrees. Tomorrow, it's all about the northwest flow that is really taking control across the middle of the nation. Breezy and chilly, and in that northwest flow, I can't rule out a couple of sprinkles popping up in the afternoon, especially from the St. Louis area to the north and to the northeast. Very, very limited, but just don't want you to be surprised. Temperatures colder compared to the last couple of days, swinging back below average. 40s, 50s, 60s. 60s really getting squeezed off to the south. Let's do 50s around St. Louis for high temperatures on Friday afternoon. Forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, noticeably colder, especially once the sun goes down. 40 for the low. Tomorrow, mix of clouds and sunshine. Emphasis on the sun in the morning, more clouds in the afternoon. Breezy and some sprinkles around during the afternoon hours, but they're kind of spotty. 55 degrees will do it for the high. Tomorrow night, clear skies and cold. Still a possibility of a late season frost. 35 will do it for the low. Looking ahead over the next 5 days, the weekend, partly sunny skies, still on the cool side, below average, 59 degrees, and windy on Saturday. Sunday, partly sunny, 63 degrees will do it for the high temperature. Monday, 65, and Tuesday back down a little bit to 58 degrees. So the seesaw temperature pattern definitely in place over the next 5 days.
All right,
She's
Dave.
over here sneezing during your weathercast.
It's the mold spores.
I guess the rain, washed everything but that away. Thanks, Dave. Coming up next in sports, you'll meet the Billikens' new men's basketball coach.
You're watching Fox News at 6 and listening to the Big 550 KTRS.
For the latest highlights and stories, just click sports at fox2now.com.
Welcome Travis Ford, new head coach at St. Louis University, the man who will lead the program, but insists the program belongs to the players, ex-players, alumni, and fans. And here's something that burns me. SLU's hire still hasn't made the college basketball page on ESPN Online. That's the kind of culture Ford is out to change.
It's experienced some success. We just want to try to do it consistently at a very high level and build on what so many people have put their heart and soul into, whether it be players and coaches and fans. Beautiful campus, and then we're going to be selling the community of St. Louis.
He's got a great pedigree in basketball. He lives it and breathes it, and when we went out looking for somebody, we wanted somebody that could ignite Chaifetz Arena, that could recruit at the level we needed to, that understood what St. Louis University is about. And we believe he's the perfect fit, and we're thrilled to have him here.
Jason Tatum heads to Duke with too many awards to count, but this could be the biggest of them all. Today, Jason received the Gatorade Prep Basketball Player of the Year trophy. Same trophy Kobe Bryant, LeBron James received. He scored 18 for the West in the McDonald's All-Star game. That was last night in Chicago. Tatum has thought about winning this award since the 7th grade, when then Chaminade star Bradley Beal got the same honor.
You know, when Brad won this award in 7th grade, you know, everything Brad did is senior year. You know, I just looked up to him. You know, McDonald's game, this award. But I never really took it as serious back then, and I never really thought, you know, I'd be that good. But, you know, to have that dream come true, it means everything.
Cardinals and Yankees, final spring training game. Ruben Tejada grounds out and in the process strains a quad muscle. He will start the season on the disabled list. Man, oh man, but it opens playing time for Jerko and Garcia. 5th inning, Jeremy Hazelbaker continues to hit for the Cardinals. It's a 3-run home run to right. Cardinals with a 6-0 lead. Hazelbaker has made the opening day roster. It's a great story. It was announced after the game. The Cardinals beat the Yankees today in Tampa. Final was 9-1. Boston in here tomorrow. Robbie Fabry day to day. Steve Ott is closer but won't play Friday. 5 games remain, and the Blues are in a dogfight for first place with Dallas. We've seen the Blues get all these points in the regular season. get home ice advantage, then fritter it away in the playoffs. Okay, that doesn't mean it will happen this year. Home ice is still the goal.
The last five games, we can do things like secure the Central Division. You can secure home ice. You can really establish your game for the playoffs, and that's what we're looking to do in these last 5 games. We got a few real good tests with some of the teams that are going to be on the schedule, and we're going to have good measuring sticks. But we need to keep progressing, keep getting better.
And there's something about this hockey season that has a different feel than the last couple of years. You can feel it. You can feel it all over town.
No frittering.
Energy in there. I'm adding that to my vocabulary.
Do that, please.
All right, Richie, thank you.
Still ahead, shopping at Walmart may help feed needy St. Louisans.
The store's new 3-pronged campaign to fill local food banks.
And we leave you with some food for thought as Walmart launches a new campaign to feed the needy.
It's called Fight Hunger, Spark Change, and there are 3 ways to take part. Between now and April 25th, buy any Campbell's, General Mills, Kellogg's, Kraft, Heinz, or Pepsi product at Walmart, and the manufacturer donates to Feeding America, which provides meals to local food banks. You can also donate to local food banks at the register during checkout, or just use the hashtag Fight Hunger, and Walmart will make a donation.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us for Fox News at 6. For news 24 hours a day, go to foxnow.com.
Celebrity Name Game's up next. We hope to see you back here at 9, 10, and 11.